How many people are there about? Oh, it's still coming on.
Go ahead and share your screen. 17 people.
Share.
And you have to go back to that each time you want to share a new screen.
Okay. Okay, can anybody hear me out there? This is Roy. Yeah, we're going to go through, first of all, we're going to go through the step-by-step process in order to transfer the orders that show up on the Schwab tips. And so I'm going to utilize the picture function here just for you to take a snapshot of the tips that I sent to Justin, and he should have been pushing them probably within the next hour or so. But if you could just push that now, take a picture of that, because I'm going to refer to it afterward, and also as we go through it. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead, and I am Roy Weiser. I provide the investment advice for TSP tips. I'm here with my daughter Megan, and we work together with Justin. I do, as I said, the investment stuff, and he does the admin and all the subscriptions. So I'm going to go to share my screen this time, but I'm going to be pulling up my individual account at Schwab and kind of go from there. So let me just, I'm trying to switch it over right now. I'm having a little bit of difficulty, as I always do. But let me go to Meg. Could you help me over here, please? I'm going to try to get to my Zoom. To my Schwab account. I have to go to the web again. No, I don't know.
Stop sharing your screen. So.
Okay, I got it.
But that's not sharing right now. So
okay.
Hit stop share.
Okay, stop share.
Okay. And then when you hit share,
select.
There you go.
Okay. So with her assistance, I was able to help myself here a little bit. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go through the account over here and look at it and be able to help you out. And feel free to go ahead and follow me as we go through. If you do have your computer up, you can do the trades. Like I said, I have the analysis and the required trades for tomorrow, and we'll use some of those during this example. But what I'd like to do now is kind of go through and show you exactly what it looks like. And hopefully you've seen that when you're receiving Schwab.
Holy shit.
Say again? No, better not. But when you okay, if everybody could please mute their mics, please. So what we'd like to do is when you receive the Schwab 365 email, it comes in two sections. And the first is basically verbiage, which tells you what stocks to buy, which stocks to cancel, and which ones to sell. And then you can scroll down a little bit, and it'll give you that table that I just showed you before that maybe you're more familiar with. That's cut and pasted directly out of a spreadsheet that I use in order to come up with the investment decisions. So once you log on to Schwab here, I'm going to go through it very quickly, but I think you can learn a lot. And Schwab is a great platform. I really enjoy it a lot. If I ever have any problems with
everyone.
We're trying to mute everyone for right now. Okay. Go back to the Zoom meeting. Hold on 1 second.
No,
Okay. Okay,
Here, go to participants.
Utah. Okay, sorry about that. Switchology is always difficult at times. All right, so here we go. But Schwab is a great company. I enjoy working with them. I've worked with them for many years. Had an account with them for many years, and they're always willing to go. They're open 24/7. If you have any problems to try to with anything, you can give them a call and they'll quickly answer your questions. For instance, I had trouble logging on just before. Usually they send me a text message, but this time I had to use a different method and give them a call. So when you log on, I have it set up so that it automatically brings me to my summary page. Okay. And this is really interesting. It tells you the total value of your account. You can go ahead and change the what you call periods. Select year to date if you wanted to. Take a look at that. And then it'll also bring you, if you scroll down a little bit further, you can go and see different accounts here. And I happen to have 4 of them here. And Schwab Tips is over here. Again, you can go up here to the top right of this screen and you can click on settings. And then it looks at the view over here. And what you'll find on most screens is a little tab to the right that says Snap Ticket. And that's what we'll use in order to make our transactions. So for right now, go from the summary, and then I'm going to break it down for just my Schwab Tips account. Okay, when I go through Schwab Tips, the first thing I want to take a look at is that you're going to have these bars up at the top. And again, we primarily are going to stick with the accounts and the trade. But these tabs to the right, you can go through at another later time and try to find out some different ideas, like if you want to research one type of stocks. But what we're going to look at right now is I always come in and I say, okay, I saw what the account value was, but let me go ahead before I do all the trades. Let me see how we're doing. So you click on portfolio performance, and then just like down there on the other one, and you'll find this, you'll always see you can toggle between accounts if you want over here by just hitting this down button or select your different periods. For this, I'm going to select year to date because of the fact that Schwab Tips 365, we started it, see how we're doing this year. And you can look down, if you scroll, it'll tell you how much you've gained, what the value was from the 13th, and the rate of return, it was 5.66% so far. Another little cool feature is that if you look also on the far left over here again, you can see that investment change. But if you want to see how your rate of return compares to, let's say, the S&P 500, I always click on that because a lot of times I mentioned in my text, and I like the S&P 500 as a place to park your money. You can see how it compares. S&P has had 1.77, and we're up about 5.66, and that's through the 13th, yesterday. So we'll have to take into account. But that's the first thing I like to do is set the stage and see where we're going. The next part that I go to, I'll go back to this top bar, and I want to see the summary again. I want to see the positions again. Okay. Now, when I do that, see that summary, what the account's worth, but then it breaks it down to the individual individual equities that are presently in my account. And I always like to go through and verify what that number is against what the spreadsheet has. Okay. So before I'll start, I'll go ahead and I'll say, okay, right now they say I own 6, so 10 positions. Now, when I get that spreadsheet from Schwab Tips, it should have 10 green blocks. Sometimes it doesn't, and I'll show you one of those cases today and how you can fix that. So it just goes through. Feel free to go through each of the columns and see what it is. All these little info buttons at the top of day change it'll give you a description of exactly what that is. And you'll find that throughout the Schwab website, you can click on those and they'll give you your answer when you're unsure of what that is. If you want to, you can go ahead and customize it. And then if you look over here on the right side, you'll see how the accounts are set up, the allocations in each fund. I usually use in the beginning about like to have 10 stocks. So I look like a baseline of about $70,000 what I'll start until you start running out of cash. So I want to also let you know that this is important as you get into the trading. So right now I have $190,000 in cash, or about 25% of the portfolio. Now, okay, so we set the stage. We have 10 stocks, equities that we're following. And next thing we want to do is go back up to the trade. So we select trade. And the first thing I want to do is see what kind of open positions I do have. Okay. So as you can see here, I should have 10 cells because I have 10 equities. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So that looks good for right now. Okay. That matches up. So I'm good there. I verified that. And I also have 2 buys in the queue, let's say, waiting to be for the stop market order to be placed. Now, if I want to go through, what I do when I match up the spreadsheet with Schwab, first thing I want to do is sort it by symbol. That way it makes it easy for me to go back and forth and see that everything is okay. So the next thing I do after I do that, then I'll verify, like I said, the number of sales positions, verify it with tips. And if there's any deltas I'll note that and then get to work. So the next stage you come to, and this takes you to the step 2, where you start to look at, okay, now I need to cancel the trade, either change the sell or the buy. So we'll take that in that order. So let's just say, for instance, I sat on there and I said, I need to cancel because on tips it says cancel the order. I would go to the far right, hit cancel. It says, do you want to cancel sell shares of GGL? And you say no. Okay. Well, if you did want to do it, you would just select yes. But in this case, I don't want to change it, so I'll select no. But that's how you can access any cancel order directly from the open page. Okay, the next thing that you can take a look at is the snap ticket. Okay, and we're going to take a look at the cells because this is where most of the items come into. And so if you take a look at that, I'll just show you. Notice that snap ticket showed up. And if you look at that a little bit, you'll also see that it says I have $140,000 worth of buying power, not the 160,000 that was there previously. And that's because these 2 buys on the other side, CRDO and RDTL, they have some money allocated. So if I want to go ahead and do it, let's say, let me see, open all sort, and then get to work over here. I'm getting a little bit, trying to go through 2 things at once here and manage things. So what I'll do now, I'm going to go ahead and change that Google order, let's say. Say it wasn't a cancel. I showed you how to do that. Then we want to change it. Okay. So what we'll do, this is how you go through on a daily basis. You'll have the position that you own. It'll tell you how many you have, how many shares you have, and then what you have to do to update it. This is a position you currently have. You just need to go through and type in the price down here next to stop price. And say I just type in 105 is on the spreadsheet, 105.32. I look at how this amount will change at times from the previous. You go through and you review it. And then at that point, you would go ahead and place the order if everything looked correct. If you have an error due to entering something wrong, and usually it's on the ask price at times, sometimes what we have there is not available. So we'll have to go ahead and look at that a little bit more. But if you have to do any edits, just go in here, go back, or else you can just clear everything out and go from there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this order because that's the only thing we need to do on the cells. When a cell is updated, it's only one entry, and then you go ahead and hit review and place order. Okay, so that's how we do it with the change. Okay, then the next one that we want to do is the buy. This is something new, something that we don't hold. Okay, so what you can do at this point, I'm going to show you the whole ticket as we want to buy something new. Let me clear this. And say I wanted to buy AMD. That was on the sheet. So you would select the stock, whatever is listed. And then at this point, it'll let you know you have 140K available. This is a new position I'm trying to take. So we want to do a buy. We'll come back to quantity. And the order type you want to place is a stop market. And if you have any question about the items in that drop down, just feel free to go over here and it'll tell you for all the different items what it means. A real quick way if you have any confusion. Okay, it's up on their glossary for the order types. But now I have a stop price, and let's say I want to buy it. It's currently at trading at 222 to 223. So let's say I want to buy it at 224. And that would be on the spreadsheet, 224.00. I make it a good to cancel. And then you have to determine how many shares you want to buy. So at this point, I could say, well, since I want half of all my new accounts, and if I have money available, I'm going to put 70,000 there. So I can just click on this, put in 70, and then it will tell you based upon that price how many shares you're going to buy in a whole number. So you can buy 312 shares with that amount, and that equates to 224. And you'll notice over here how it came in with the estimated amount. That would be how much you're paying. Okay, I'll go ahead and review that. And if it looks good, yep, it looks good. Now watch up here. When I hit submit place order, this is going to decrease. Okay, and that order with AMD now shows up on the other screen to the left that I placed a buy order on it now. Okay, but since I don't want that, it was just an example. I'm going to hit cancel. Select yes, and that should delete it. Okay, now we get to the other point over here. Say we have a buy order that's out there. Let's look at CRDO. If I want to change that, again, as kind of a review, we can go through and just change that price on the sell, okay? If we hadn't bought it throughout the day. So that's how you go through and you do those items. So it's easy. It's really a 3-step process. You go through and you look at the cancels, you look at the buys, and you look at the sells and make any adjustments you need to. And just use those tickets to go through. Now, what happens when you get
You asked them, we have questions.
Yeah.
First one is stop and stop market is the same question mark. And then the next person says, my snap ticket window does not offer stop market as an option. My options are market, limit, stop, stop limit, and trailing stop.
Okay. So the first one was the
Or stop and stop market.
stop and stop market. Okay. A stop is really an activation term. It says when it hits that price, when the price of the security hits 164.75, let's say here, it's a stop. It hits a stop. And at that point, it triggers a buy order as soon as it hits that stop. And it's going to purchase it at whatever the market price is. Okay. Hope that works out. Now, if you're in the ticket there and you're not getting this full selection that I have displayed there, that would be a question that I'd recommend you talk to Schwab about it because you might not have some options there. I've never heard of that, but if you want to, you can. And anybody can give me a call afterward. My number is 757-636-0632, and we can talk about those individual issues. Okay. Are there any other questions that are there? Okay. Now you take a look at fills. When fills come in, let me see here. I'll go ahead and go to the order status again, and now click on filled. And these are all the recent, let me close the snap ticket. These are all the recent fills that we had here. Okay. And you can go ahead and par that down with date range. Let's say I just wanted to look at today. And we had ASTX was one that was filled. Okay. So at that point, I say, okay, now that was filled, now we have to get a sell stop order in there because we set it at a certain price. And now we want to go in there and set a stop, which activates the stop action. And it would be a sell stop market. But a real easy way to do this is just come over here to the far right on that same row and hit opposite order. And at that point, it will give you that snap ticket. So you don't have to type in everything again. And all you have to do is enter in whatever the new price is in order to buy that. And say it went down to now the new buy order was to go ahead, or excuse me, the new sell, the new, excuse me, I'm getting confused here again, but the new order would be able to be changed right here. And then you go through the review and then you go through another one. What I really wanted to do was confuse me because we didn't get a new buy today. It was just two sells. So I got a little bit off track there, but you would do it the same way for a sell or a buy. Just hit the far right. It gives you the opposite side of the order and just put in the corresponding information that you need. So yeah, we had two sells today and no buy.
Okay, we still have a question about sell market and sell stop.
Okay.
The email with actions yesterday said sell market, but the prior one said sell stop. Why?
The email, I know we've been working with the terminology, but whenever it says on the verbiage up there, but if you also can look at the spreadsheet, and you'll see every order that we place is going to be a stop market order. Okay. So as soon as it hits that stop price, it will activate the action that's noted. And that is the action is either buy or sell it. So I'll work with Justin in order to do that. I think he put out on the latest one, it said type stop market because that's where the drop down type is. And so we'll go from there and I'll work on that with Justin. But again, the thing that I'm concerned about with it is that it's really three components with any order. First of all is the action, whether you're buying and selling it. And if it's a stop market, stop activates the market order, which is the third component. And so it's bought at that price, whatever the market price is. So buy, sell, stop, and then market. Does that clear it up any more? Okay. So that's really a review of the things that I want to go ahead and handle there. At this point, I want to go ahead and want to go and if I could just open it up to any questions that you have, anything. Uh, Once you get to everything going, you'll find that it's much easier to go ahead and do it. It's the mechanics. Some of the things you have to look at too is that a lot of times when you want to buy something, you have this bid ask price. And the ask price and the bid price, they will change. Notice there's a spread of 40 cents behind that. Well, this changes during extended hours, hours that the market closed. So this could move up or down. And when we send out the analysis, we send it out, okay, purchase it at this price. So if I put out there and say, purchase this at $63.50, it's within this spread. And it's going to say that you need to go ahead. It's going to give you an error. It's going to say you need to come out and price it at least $64.91. That's a little thing that you have to take a look at. And that's really not a bad thing. Yeah, you're not going to get it for that lower price, but the price is moving up and it shows good momentum as it's going because that order will get filled right away at the open. The other thing regards the amount of shares or the quantity of the shares. This was a question that came up. I think Jennifer had, and thanks for the question. And I like using like I said, on average, I want to purchase 10 stocks. Okay, now that's going to eat up a lot of my portfolio. But as it gets down to this point up here with the available cash, notice it's 140. That only allows you to go ahead and buy 2 more stocks. So as I see this starting to turn down, I'll go back to my positions and you'll notice that on that right side, notice that a lot of these are not $70,000. That's where I was running out of buying power or cash available. So I had to purchase a lower amount. But what I like to do is I like to at least purchase the stock with some amount. It might not be what I've set out to be, but plan is always flexible. But the biggest thing is that you want to try to get as much money working for you and not leave it in cash. If you do have a lot in cash, that very first row that's on the spreadsheet, it's the SPY. If you have it available and you don't think you'll be using it, I could take this money or a portion of it of the 190,000 in cash, but only 140 was available. That 140, I could purchase the SPY ETF. That's the S&P 500 ETF. And again, that very first row is where we call what I call the dry powder row. It's not meant to be the best performing stock. It's just where if you have some cash that's sitting around and not being utilized and the market is going up, go ahead and use it in order to purchase the SPY. The other thing I'll say about quantity, and as you're learning, you don't need to go ahead and put a lot of money in there. You can trade, and this is what I recommend, is that if you're nervous about it, you want to take it slow, you can just buy 1 share. It really doesn't matter as long as you buy 1 share. And that way you're minimizing your risk until you learn the mechanics. And that's what I would recommend. And you can use on other sites paper trading, or you just can write things down. But I think if you buy at least 1 share, it's a minimal cost, and it'll get you better performance. Let's say mechanics wise, process wise, as you go through and you learn this whole system a little bit better. but it really doesn't take all that much time.
Can you answer some questions now?
Sure.
Okay.
Air questions.
Can you go over the latest purchase email? I think there were two recommendations.
Purchase email. Uh, okay. Email itself. Let me see here. I wasn't planning on opening up my.
Do not have it printed off.
Well, I'd have to go. Let me go back to.
Let me print it and then you can just go off mine. Just go on to the, let's do the next question.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Okay, Fidelity only has sell stop or sell limit option, so I've been doing the sell stop.
Okay. It probably has in their terminology that it's just that's if it doesn't mention market, that's what they're going to give you.
How does a wash sale affect this strategy? I do mine in a Roth IRA, but others who are in a brokerage account might want to know about wash sale.
Okay, wash sales. That's why we recommend it's being used in tax deferred accounts, whether it's, excuse me, in IRA accounts, whether it be a Roth or a traditional. And because the amount of trades, a wash sale is where you go ahead and if you've had a loss usually on a stock, usually you can go ahead and claim that as a loss on your taxes. The wash comes in is if you buy that same stock within the next 30 days after it's sold. In that case, you cannot go ahead and claim that loss on your taxes. And with taxable accounts, you have more issues with tax reporting at the end of the year. So that's why this is tailored best if utilized within a tax deferred account. So, but the wash sale, if you buy the same security or substantially the same security back, you can go ahead and you won't be able to claim it on your taxes. So if you do that, just be aware of that. And that's what a wash sale is. Okay.
I noticed the account last year was up like 75% in the fall for the year, then finished up 44%. Just curious why the big drop, just market fluctuations or what?
It was just market fluctuations at that time. And what we did there, let me go back to Charles Schwab. I'll go back there to the summary page to show what you're referring to. Let me go back a year. Well, let me go to portfolio performance. Schwab tips. And then portfolio performance. And this is what you're talking about right over here, where it went down from this point. So what we did at that point, we did add in some other filters. At times we look at the charts only, but I call it stacking strategy, where we added in moving averages to it in order to preclude us from getting into stocks and then having them go down. And I think you're going to see, we took the action on that, and but still 30. Well, it was 36.5% for last year. But yeah, and I don't think you'll see that again. But yes, that was one item that we had. But overall, the performance was well, and we just keep on working at it.
What's the strategy for stock we already own that don't have any sell stop orders in place?
That stocks that you currently own that have no sell stops in place?
Yeah.
I'm
not sure. Also, can you
well, every stop that we have in the equity there, they have a sell stop. It should be linked to it. So if you're not seeing that, let us know. Personally, today, probably some people got to buy with Irene, IREN, and as I was going through the analysis, I noticed that I incorrectly did not even place that buy stop order for my account, but it is updated. As I did the analysis, everybody else should have got a buy on that today, and I placed the sell stop on that. But yeah, so it's always good to go through and double check your work as you do that.
Also, can you speak on reinvesting dividends?
Reinvesting dividends, I would go ahead and just always do that. Uh, it's just a matter of choice. I like doing it because you're always investing it in new shares, and whatever the ex dividend date is, whoever owns it gets that dividend. So even if we sold it between the ex dividend date and the date that the dividend is actually paid, you get it because you owned it on that ex dividend date, which is usually 3 or 4 days afterward.
In yesterday's email, the verbiage and spreadsheet didn't match in some cases. For example, the DPRO sell stop dollar amount.
Okay, I'll talk to Justin about that. If anybody finds any errors, please, we've been doing the spreadsheet for over a year now, adjusting that. But the verbiage, this is the first time we're adding that in. So we might have a little bit of growing pains. If you find anything, please just give me a call, hit an email, and let me know. And we're pretty good on trying to incorporate anybody's comments in order to make it more user friendly all the time.
So he owns JOBY and he doesn't have a sell stop on the stock. Advice, please.
JOBY. I know that's on there. It never gave. I don't know if it ever gave us a buy, but saying it did. If you can send me an email, well, I'd have to look at the chart. So just send me an email if you could, and I can go ahead and take a look at the charts afterward and let you know. Okay, please. You can send it directly to my account at my last name, Weisert, WEISERT, single digit 1 at Verizon.net.
Why would you do that?
Because that's what I've been sending out
okay.
This one on. Okay. But I'll send you what I'd recommend you do after. I can't look at that right now, but I can look at it right afterward. Okay. All right. Anything else? No. Okay. So I think by looking at this, I have all the steps listed on a PowerPoint, excuse me, a PDF file, which Justin should be.
Are you going to go through that? The email?
No, we're not going to go through that one now.
Okay.
We're running a little bit too late. You mean the one that?
No, he asked, can you please go through the process of doing this?
Oh. Okay. The email itself. Okay. I have it from the one that was sent out yesterday, I think, where it has the buy. This is on it's labeled New Schwab Tips 365 Allocation 2026-01-13. And then you go ahead and you have the buy actions there. And there were 4 buys that were listed. And so it says three buys. And let's say for Irene, place a buy, because these are all the buy actions of what type. On the drop down in this type, you select stop market. The action price is $52.95 when the order is filled, and place a sell and place a sell of type stop market at $45.84. Okay. Okay. You want to see how I would do it? Okay. Okay, so let's just switch that over to say Irene. All right. I would go in there And the first action, place a buy. And then quantity will come back to, I'm going to say one. We just want to do one share. And then the order type is stop market. And then the stop price is 52.95. I want to go good to cancel because that way it's not just a day. Good to canceled orders. If you look at it, it will give you the explanation. They're active in here. Excuse me, and so on. So I get back over there. So I'm going to buy one share, and when it hits at 52.95, it's going to be a market order. And we'll see over here. You would place that, review it, and then go ahead and say place it. All right. And then that would show up on the trade, open, and the Irene. Now, we can't execute the buy sell stop. Notice that the verbiage is very particular. So after 52.95, it says when the order is filled, place a sell stop of the type stop market at 45.84. Okay, so if it was filled, if the buy was filled, that's how you would go back again and do that. Remember when I showed you the on that fill? I think we had two today. I don't have a fill on Irene, but let me go ahead and today, once that is filled, then you would get in here and do the opposite order. Okay. In this case, it's a buy because it's filled. So Irene would show up here. It was filled as a buy, and then we hit opposite order. It would show Irene with a sell with the exact same shares, and then you'd go ahead and enter in on that price, the stop market price of 45.84. Okay. So that's how you would do the verbiage. Okay. And I'm not going to review it. And I'm going to say no. I'm going to cancel it. So, are there any other questions that people have?
The sell stop price of 690.62 for SPY was triggered today, correct?
The sell stop, yes.
Okay.
And
He just wanted to confirm he was doing it correctly.
Yes, that was correct. And you'll notice when it shows up today, there's a new buy. There will be a new buy stop for up on that top row. Okay, that's what I call the dry powder row. And again, you want to purchase SPY, that's fine and dandy, but again, we're tailored. This is tailored for the stocks below that dry powder row. That's where we, you can buy it, but again, this tips is structured for the stocks below it. That's just filler, let's say. Okay. Any other ones? No. Okay, so you have my email address. Feel free to give me a call. I always like talking about the investments. If you go to the our YouTube channel too for TSP tips, last week we had a different session that dealt with the PowerPoint and screenshots. That might be able to help you out. But again, feel free to talk to me, give me a call, and I'd be glad to help anyone one-on-one. Okay. Okay. Thanks so much for showing up, and thanks for being Schwab's Tip subscribers. We're excited about it because it is available now. It's not just TSP tips or TSP members or government officials. This is available for anyone. So if you have an IRA, let's say, that's sitting around, you might want to think if you want to move that over to Schwab, or if you have your uncle that not involved with the government, not a federal employee, or a friend, feel free to go ahead and mention it to them if they would like to. Okay.
The recording will be made available as soon as like we're done and we can get it uploaded, right?
Yes. Give us till tomorrow morning to try to do that.
Is there a referral program?
We haven't figured that one out yet.
Figure it.
So, but I do appreciate it. And if you like I said, the more I can do to help you. Sorry, we had a little bit of a glitch there in the beginning, but once you get the mechanics down, it really goes pretty quick. Okay, thank you very much, and hope you have a good weekend coming up. Okay, bye. All right.
So hit stop share right there.
Okay,
And then you're gonna hit end
got it.
and meeting for all.